Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsp@kaizencpas.com. I'm your host, Mark Valesky. Now let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Time. I'm joined by Eric Jordan, a partner here at the firm. Eric, what kind of software do we use?
Oh, what kind of software as a firm do we use? Yeah. We have a pretty expansive tech stack. We're a Microsoft Office firm from just the inner workings. We run on a firm management platform called Count with a Q. We use QuickBooks Online, UltraTax, and then you got all sorts of auxiliary softwares, Tally4, Sift, HubSpot for a CRM. I could probably continue.
Could probably keep going for a while. Right?
Software has become, next to labor costs, is our number two cost as it is, but it's augmented us in our ability to become a national firm, meaning a national outreach and have national based employees, but also just operate more efficiently and provide a much higher level product.
And that's actually what I really want to talk about as today's subject. I want to talk about top softwares in the automotive industry, especially like new ones and up-and-coming changes that have happened. But realistically, as you would say, it's jumping over dollars to save pennies.
To save pennies when you skimp out on your shop software.
Well, and again, every one of those pieces of software that you just listed for this firm, they're all paying their weight.
They are.
They're saving us in some way, shape, or form.
Yep, or giving us the ability, the capabilities to do things. I mean, I think back when I wrote service forever ago now, there was no digital vehicle inspections. There was no send an estimate to a cell phone. They can pull it up. We could walk through it together if they weren't sitting in my waiting lounge. I mean, shoot, when we used to write up an estimate, we didn't even have a software that could print out an estimate. It was literally, I'd get my list of parts costs. We'd handwrite the estimates for all the repairs, and I'd kneel down next to the customer or pick up the phone, and they're just listening. What great opportunities do we have to augment all these different functions within our shop by utilizing great software?
Well, exactly. You know, you see, you go into some auto shops and they have waiting rooms, right?
Yep.
And I constantly am there like, who uses this anymore?
Yeah.
Like I do remember back in the day, when I first started driving, you go there, you have them work on it.
Yep. And you'd sit in the waiting.
You just sit there and wait.
Yep.
Right. And as soon as I guess became an adult and really, got my own job, I was like, I don't got time for this. I got to go to my own job.
Yep.
And I would just drop off. You either I don't want to say rent, but typically you get a buddy to loan you their car, and you're off, and your life hasn't overly changed.
Exactly.
So as you kind of mentioned, with all this other technology, you're still communicating and providing even more information with less of a delay.
Absolutely. But it's really just augmented the shop's ability to deliver a top tier product, and it's really those that are utilizing these different technologies are just head and shoulders above shops that are still operating in the past, paper ROs, pen and paper. They just lose. If you're not using a DVI, that's crazy. The DVIs, digital vehicle inspections, from a selling tool, it's a total game changer.
Well, and again, we've brought some of this stuff up before. If your company, your shop, whatever, you just want to keep going as you are, that's fine. Keep doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, again, these companies that want to grow, they have to be using technologies that allow them to grow.
Yep.
We already talked about, changes in the market, changes with tariff. These are things that are greatly affecting business, and you need to have software and tools that allow you to respond appropriately.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I get questions all the time from new shops, either coming from a really archaic system, or maybe they're just not happy with their current system. They say, hey, Eric, what are the best softwares that you're seeing out there, or what's everybody using? And I think there's probably, we'll just keep it to 5 that are mentioned. When somebody asks me that, normally we're going to steer them towards TechMetric. From our view, TechMetric, it's a great balance of plug and play. Getting somebody in there and usability is super easy to get somebody trained up on it. We think the reporting's pretty solid. We're very happy with what we can get out of it. It's cloud-based, right? Cloud-based is that's the new norm, right? You have to have a cloud-based software. If you're switching to a desktop-based software from a cloud-based shop management system, that'd almost be a crime. Mm-hmm. If I'm a shop owner and I don't want to spend every single day in the shop, I like to have a software that I can manage things remotely. Mm-hmm. And then, their integrations have been really strong with all these different functions. They have plenty of functions within it, but if you want to take it to the next level and use, some best-in-class software, they've had their open API for a while. They integrate with so many really good individual products. So, like I'm talking about DVIs, communications, all sorts of marketing, all sorts of different products that allow you to really augment the use of that software. And then, in the last year, they brought in Shop Genie now as part of their ecosystem to really give you a lot more insights inside your client base, how to market to your clients appropriately, and really utilize all that data that lives in really the heart and soul of your shop, which should be your shop management system. So we're huge fans with TechMetric. They work really well with us, and they'll take our feedback actually, even from the accounting firm standpoint of, hey, we need. Obviously we need to take this data and translate it to a financial statement. Mm-hmm. So we work with them all the time on various things like that.
Well, and just to kind of add to that, when and again, some of this information isn't just surface level. You don't know all these cars are, a Toyota or we're getting a lot of Jeeps. You may not notice that right away. But when you can have that data in the background, the more you can understand your clients and the vehicles or whatever, for whatever product they're using, helps you predict for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player actually from a shop management standpoint that's really interesting, Shopware, recently got acquired by Velo. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. Brings a lot of capital opportunity to really grow that into a really robust shop management system. So we're pretty excited to see where that is. Users that we work with that are on Shopware, very happy. They really like that it's super easy to get somebody up and running in it. And again, cloud-based, integrates with a lot of third-party products. So that's probably the number 2 shop management software that we see people migrating to.
Okay.
Still the big dog in the industries, Mitchell, I believe they still have the largest market share. Mitchell has an ability to access data remotely, but it's still a desktop-based product. That's why we're probably seeing a lot of people defect from them as a software. But their reporting capabilities and their labor guides are still world-class. So probably a good chunk of probably at least half the shops that we talk to and work with either are on Mitchell or they came from Mitchell. So hard to not mention them when we're talking about top shop softwares.
And here's the other thing too, not that we're trying to poo-poo anybody, but if that system works for you, stick with it. If your employees like using it and it's not causing a disruption in the work that you're doing, and you guys feel good with it, stick with it.
Totally.
Right? Again, we're just bringing up top software that we're running into and that we see a lot.
Well, I know shop owners that can get more or that can get better data analytics out of a Mitchell system than you can any other system. So now it takes a lot of work to do it, right? It's not like, hey, I'm running canned reports or anything. But they've known the system, and it's got the ability to produce the data to the point where they can look up or they can analyze some really interesting things that is just a lot more difficult in some of the other newer products.
But it also took the work, right?
Yeah.
They made that investment already. And again, because it's been around for so long, they know that.
Exactly.
Yep.
We'll round out the list with a couple up-and-comers.
Sure.
We're seeing a ton of Autoleap out there. They seem to be growing dramatically. Again, young, well-funded shop management system, cloud-based. So we're still big fans of any. We're probably not going to mention anybody else who's not cloud-based. Sorry, Protractor. I know that Protractor is similar to Mitchell. People love the system that use it, but we're looking at the future, and if we were going to make a change, it makes sense to make a change to a cloud-based product.
So something like Autoleap, does it have like a unique function that kind of helps it stand out from the others?
So a lot of the times these are just kind of, I'll be honest, UI is a big one, right? The user interface. How does that look, feel? Different integrations, right? Not everybody has integrations with everybody. So who they integrate, who they've built relationships with to partner with, that kind of seems to be what carries, Autoleap and ShopMonkey are kind of the two other cloud-based players that we're seeing, and specifically just the general automotive repair market. But yeah, on both ends of those, right? There's, there's a few things. There's some cost plays, there's some integration plays that they use to differentiate themselves, but a lot of it, in my opinion, is user interface. Hey, I'm gonna go play with Techmetric. I'm gonna play with Shopware. I'm gonna play with Autoleap. I'm gonna play with ShopMonkey, and sometimes it just comes down to preference. Hey, what just naturally speaks to how I would navigate through a software best.
And I mean, a lot of these will have free trials, free demos. Talk to a sales rep, and they'll hook you up, because really they want you to get in there and feel it out.
Go to one of the many conferences, especially the larger ones. The Vision conference, which will be next March, and probably at ASTE, which is in September in North Carolina. You'll see all those software vendors. They will have computers out there. You can do a live test with a human right there to help you direct and see how that software fits just in how you view things, how you navigate in everything.
All right, perfect. Eric, out of all these softwares, I'm not going to have you tell me which one's your favorite. What is the most neat feature that you've seen?
Ooh, neat feature. We love Techmetric's end-of-day report because it is literally you're running one report, and it provides you with probably 95% of the data that you're looking for, and that we're looking for to analyze how that shop did for that day. They by far have the number one best single run report, in our opinion.
Is it just like a single click, or what is it?
Yeah, literally you go to reports, you select end of day, you select your time period, and it has your car count, average ROs, your gross profits for parts, labor, sublet, shop supplies. You can see your different payment methods, so how you're receiving payments, categorize them in a certain way. It's just got so much data on it for one report that I don't have to sit and spend time navigating all these different reports to compile all the data I need to make good business decisions, right? And one of the things we promote is being a nimble business owner, meaning I have good data inputs for me to make good business decisions swiftly. And what do I need for that? Really easy, straightforward, digestible data that I can make quick business decisions from.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Eric.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.